So, Chris, can Jordan Love still be a part of the Packers' future, or is he just going to be a part of the Packers' past?
Oh, no, absolutely he can be a part of their future. Look, the fact is we have no idea what Aaron Rodgers is going to do after this season. I get that, he's, happy now, it seems. All right, he's going to play through the season. But we don't know if he's going to want to trade or not once this year is over. And, of course, Green Bay doesn't have to trade him even if he wants out. But supposedly they have this gentleman's agreement, right, that if he wants to be moved still, they will move him. And I don't think we will know based on what happens this season unless Rodgers just comes out and says, you know what, things have been straightened out, and I want to be a Packer for the rest of my career now, which I don't expect him to say. He could win the Super Bowl, LeVar, and still want out. I mean, that actually is about the best way you could leave Green Bay. If he won the Super Bowl, you talk about sticking it to Goody, Brian Gutekunst, the GM. You go win a Super Bowl this year and then drop the mic and say, I still don't like the way they run things. Go win it with Jordan Love now, Goody. Like, he would have one more ring than Brett Favre had in Green Bay. I mean, that would be a real gangster move if Aaron Rodgers wanted to do that. So, and he may decide to stay. So we just don't know. I think it's a good situation for Green Bay in the preseason because you can see what Jordan Love can do. It will not hurt him to sit another year behind Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers, I get it. It was different back in the day. But Rodgers sat 3 years. All right? Other quarterbacks have done the same, 2-3 years behind us. Or Jimmy Garoppolo sat 3 years behind Tom Brady. So there's nothing wrong with learning at the feet of an all-time great. That could actually help Jordan Love. So, Joy, I think he still could very much be a part of the Packers' future.
He better be a part of the Packers' future. What they trade up in the first round to get him for if he's not? First of all, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be in Green Bay next year. All this drama is not so that he could just ride off into the sunset with the Green Bay Packers. This is a whole Band-Aid situation. As I've said many times, kids in the senior year of high school, let's just stick together, keep the family together so he has a nice childhood, and when he gets off to college, we out of here. This is over at the end of the season for the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. They traded up to get Jordan Love for a reason. He's the future of the franchise. We haven't seen anything from Jordan Love yet to evaluate him, so what is his trade value at this point? We don't know what he is. We have no idea what Jordan Love is. So the trade situation is a ghost at this point. Now, after the preseason, how he performs, we might have more to evaluate him on, although I don't know how much you can put in preseason performance. It is something, but I don't know that it's a full evaluation of what Jordan Love is capable of. But yeah, he's the future of the Green Bay Packers. Otherwise, what did you trade up in the first round in the draft to take him and not even bother to let Aaron Rodgers know, therefore creating a firestorm offseason of drama for your organization? Yeah, he's the future of the franchise, or you better hope he's the future of the franchise because Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there next year.
Yeah, I like the way you finished it off, Joy. They better hope he's the future of this franchise, doing what they did and being where they're at with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I still think that this is just a strategic strategy from Aaron Rodgers. Honestly to speak, can Jordan Love still be a part of this team moving into the future? Yes. And it will rely on him playing well in the preseason. Every snap he gets, every rep he takes is one that matters. It's one that counts. He doesn't get restful, peaceful, oh, it's the preseason, this doesn't count type of snaps. He doesn't get them. He doesn't have the luxury of doing that where everything stands with this organization being seemingly at odds with Aaron Rodgers. This is a masterful play by Rodgers, if you ask me. He's probably not wanting to play in the preseason. They're going to give Jordan Love every opportunity to establish himself as someone that should be in the conversation of being the future for this franchise. It has not been discussed. We have not heard from Love, which I think is a good thing. Love just needs to be quiet because if he says or does the wrong thing, it could detonate a whole nother landmine, a whole landfill that they don't need to deal with. It's been quiet. It's seemingly quiet. And so now Jordan Love has the opportunity to take his snaps and show why they took him where they did and why it's created all this fuss. Or it plays in the Aaron Rodgers' hands where he doesn't perform at a high level or he doesn't make the type of impact where you look at him and you say, this is the guy of the future. There's a lot of pressure on Jordan Love right now because, as you mentioned, Joy, we don't know what he is. We don't know what his trade value is. We don't know where this is going with Jordan Love. So he could either be that guy that they took, moved up, and put their money into him, and now you're seeing why, or he could be that guy where you're like, well, they made a mistake. Aaron Rodgers is showing and proving that they're going to need him. And now that turns the conversation into a totally different conversation, whether Aaron wants to stay or whether he wants to leave, whether it's a breakup and a divorce or whether it's we work it out and we reconcile. Whichever it is, if Jordan Love does not play at a high level, Chris, you are now talking about all of the decision-making ability and power is in Aaron Rodgers' hands.
Yeah, no doubt. And Joy, I get where you're coming from with Aaron Rodgers being out of there. It certainly looks that way. But if I'm Green Bay, I'm not giving up. I'm looking at it like I have an entire season to make things right. All right, they're going to be good. We know they're going to win games, get to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there. But all year long, I am working to rebuild this relationship with Aaron Rodgers to the point where he would want to stay. That's what I'm doing. Hey, look, Gutekunst, I mean, if it's donuts at his locker every morning, whatever. All right, but you've got to make things right with Aaron Rodgers, listen to his thoughts on personnel, and really try to, smooth this relationship over. Because what if Jordan Love really doesn't look good? What if he doesn't play well in the preseason? What if he doesn't show you anything in practice when he's running for the second unit? And then okay, and he's not our quarterback. Whether Aaron's here or not, we're not winning with this dude. So they need to work things out with Aaron. And if Aaron wants to stay next year, and maybe, let's say he's going to do a Tom Brady and play into his mid-40s, and he's playing at a high level. We said yesterday, Brady went 9 years without a Super Bowl win. Okay, so what if Rodgers can lead them on a little streak of Super Bowls late in his career? Then I got to say peace to Jordan Love if Aaron Rodgers wants to stay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers wants to stay, but what did you go through all this trouble for? It's not like Jordan Love fell to you in the fourth round and Aaron Rodgers is throwing a fit. This was a significant move. Not to mention, that means you botched that draft. So that's all the more ammunition for Aaron Rodgers to say, I want out of here, because you don't know what you're doing. You didn't bother to let me know that you were drafting him. You allowed this to spiral. Over years and years, you've, at least according to Aaron Rodgers, treated veterans poorly on the way out. Now you want to backpedal, and you're like, well, actually, we messed it up. He's not that good, and we're not ready for the future, and we'd like you to stay. And sorry about all the offseason drama as well. Here's some donuts. This is a lot of work to repair this situation with Aaron Rodgers. As a petty person myself, you starting from ground zero, if I will allow it, which I, most of the time, do not. So I'm not speaking for him. I don't know. Maybe it is fixable. It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like the purpose of that whole agreement before the season started to get him into training camp was to make sure that he had some power and control, which I feel like this is what it's been all about from the beginning, is that he doesn't feel like he has a voice. He doesn't feel like he has any power or control over his career. And he feels like he's earned that. And because it is Green Bay, who doesn't have an owner, it's a very unique organization in a very unique market. He has played the role of the company guy for a long time, and he's tired of doing that. And that's very obvious in how this is all played out. So, yeah, Jordan Love has to be good enough to replace Aaron Rodgers next year, or this situation could go from bad to worse for the Packers very quickly. And as much as we're talking about how, the Packers don't have to trade him, next year, they kind of do, because he can really put his foot down next year, especially with this agreement, and make things very, very messy for the Packers.
And the Queen of Petty has spoken. I hope y'all paying attention. Sticking with quarterbacks. Who should Pats fans want under center? Cam Newton or Mac Jones? We'll toss that around on the other side. This is